Hey, folks, welcome to the Generational Gap. I am Robert, your resident Gen Xer. Right over there is John, your resident Millennial. John, how are you doing this evening?
Fairly all right.
Fairly all right. I see we've
Yeah.
got a little bit of Saint and some J. Edgar in the house
Hey,
tonight.
Saint, you watch your
Good to
language over
see you,
there, man.
gentlemen.
All right, watch your language.
He was watching it. That's why I believe he got everything spelled correctly.
You assume you got it spelled correctly.
No, I, I- I'm I'm pretty up to date on my windmill speak. So I think.
Windmill speak. I like it.
uh, so Ed's waiting for the generational gap.
Well, keep waiting because it ain't coming.
I think really Ed's waiting for the generational gap to die off. So
He's waiting for the generational thigh gap. That's what
the
he's
thigh
waiting for.
gap. Ooh,
Yeah.
the thigh gap. John, on a scale of 1 to 10, thigh gap being important in as far as attraction level, go.
About a three.
A three. Good. All right. Good to hear.
Yeah. I like him
Good to
thick.
hear. Um,
Thick. But
I honestly
like not
believe
too
it
thick,
tells you
just
nothing.
thick.
It tells you nothing.
It doesn't.
It tells you nothing. It's you know. Now, yeah, I don't know. Some people are a fan of different things. It's weird to see the things that people are fans of, John. It's a little
You
sometimes
know what's really
disturbing.
fun? What's really fun is like new fetishes, like things that obviously someone 100 years ago couldn't have had that fetish because whatever thing is required wasn't around.
Right?
Like there's like balloon fetishes. I don't know. What's another one, Robert? You're pretty
Um,
keyed in on weird
well,
fetishes,
I
right?
mean, like getting handies with fleshlights now.
Is that a thing? I mean,
Yeah,
I
like
guess
like I,
like
I, I I see stuff like that. I mean,
I get it. Like
it's interesting what trends. So, it was the outgoing trend is anal.
right.
That's on the decrease now. It was kind of in its prime 5 years ago, and really had
Sure.
built up a head of steam, and it's become more popular to where now it's anal's become much more
Right.
mainstream. But
Now I can't even get
now,
off if there's no anal involved. It's like,
right now it seems that the step fantasy is a big player right now.
yeah.
That whole thing is kicking off. Um,
Oh
and of
no,
course,
bro, your penis fell out. Aw,
and
sis, can you help me with that? Like, oh my
right,
god.
and of course, it's leading to the derivative with incest and that kind of thing.
Right.
It's almost like if it continues to be a trend as much as I like anal did, it will in effect be making an attempt to make incest more mainstream and less vilified.
But
Um,
that's, yeah, I mean, step siblings, I get it, because like so many people grew up with step siblings, especially if like you didn't grow up with a hot stepsister and then suddenly you're like
sure,
14, you get a
sure.
hot stepsister. You know what I mean? I get that for
but
sure.
but there, all of the different avenues, while step bro step sis is
I love
big.
that how they talk like that, like
Right,
as if anybody actually says that shit.
right.
What's up, bro?
But
Hey, sis.
stepmom, there's a lot of stepmom, stepson, stepmom, stepdaughter,
Yeah.
boyfriend, stepfather, stepdaughter. It's even, it's permeating the gay community because you see a lot of it, a lot of step fantasy there as well.
I was talking
So
about like really out there, outlandish fetishes because like I kind of get like the step thing because they're not actually related to you,
mm,
but like they're in your house, which is a very intimate thing
well, it's
already.
but it's the doors that it's opening is the
Right.
problem. This is one of
But
those.
incest has been around forever, though.
Yes, it has, but
In fact, ever since there were two people, incest was around.
sure, but it is much less socially acceptable,
Right, of
or
course, yeah.
societally acceptable here, primarily, than it ever has been in our history, right?
I mean,
Um,
depends on where you go, but yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
but you know what I mean, right?
Oh shit, Ron Helton's over on
Ron
YouTube.
Helton in the house.
That's a
He's
rare
he's
find.
on the tube. We'll see.
How's it going, Ron?
Good to see you tonight. I don't know. It's it's interesting. So like other weird things, like now, we're starting to see, watch. You'll start to see a genre of the sex dolls, like
Oh, I bet
like
that. Yeah,
yeah,
that
having
makes
fetishes
sense.
for the not necessarily the inanimate objects, but for like sex shows with the sex dolls.
I can see
Um,
that.
so it'll you know but right now, I mean, it's not really so much a fetish, but I mean the big thing now is all about interactive, online camming and stuff like that, and you'll see all sorts of weird stuff on there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Where they're trying to hit this little fantasy or that little fantasy, and it's crazy. Just you go one day and you sit and you look, and it boggles the mind how many people are out there across the different sites. Not just the people that are performing, but how many people are sitting around. Like I can think of one mainstream campsite. You can go there and you can see, tens of thousands of people actively watching all
I
of
kind of
these.
get that too. I mean, it's part of like the parasocial relationship, right? It's like you can actually talk to the performer instead of just watching them in a video and being like, "Oh, I really like that actress. I'm going to watch everything she's ever done." Instead of that, you can just be like, "Hey, I want you to do this thing. Here's some money," and then they do it.
Um, so Helton, just FYI, we had a little hiccup at the beginning, so we restarted the stream. So D Live, you may be able to log back into D Live and go into this stream. And now that it's fixed, you may have still been on the hiccup stream. Ron also says I was not picking a Robert the last stream, just making the point that we are all suffering from various degrees of Stockholm syndrome and brainwashing.
I mean,
I
that's definitely true.
I can agree with that. It's I have to say that, I feel like sometimes I have an advantage because I grew up. The environment that I grew up in was like living in a prison camp, and something along those lines. I felt like I was, that Stockholm brainwashing, being the things that were going on. Um, so yeah, I get what you're saying. I think it makes it easier for me to, manage the things that are going on here, because this is what's going on right now in relation to things that I was dealing with when I was growing up. I'm like, this really isn't so bad. And it's like, you know this this ain't so bad. I can I can just get up and walk
No,
around,
I mean
walk
the
away.
Stockholm syndrome thing is absolutely true. I
Oh
mean,
yes,
if
there are
you're
a
a
lot of.
libertarian and you're talking to someone who absolutely is not, like trying to get them to imagine life without the government in your, like up your ass all the time. It's just it boggles their mind. It's very unfortunate, I guess is the word I'll use. It's very
Well,
unfortunate.
I'm going to say, I mean, it's, that stems from the simple fact that it is hard to imagine
Yeah,
the level of, the level of interaction the government has in your life,
right.
everything that goes on. To imagine
Everything.
giving all, all of that, who takes that over? How does that get done? Of course, the argument, it goes to the, who's going to build the roads. But it's,
Right.
there's so many things that are being done by the federal government that you're like, who's going to manage all these things? There just seems like so much that needs to be managed. So
Yeah.
it's hard. It's a lot like telling somebody, when you can talk about theology and you present a religion to somebody and you tell them you've just got to give over. You just like let it all go. Just let it all go.
Yeah. Man, that would be uh
How the fuck
I
do
mean
you do that, right?
there is a certain I guess catharticness of just kind of giving in bending the knee. But at the same time, I have way too much pride. There's no way I could do it. But there would be, it'd be less stressful for sure. Just be like, government, take care of me. And then, they break into your house and shoot your dog and kill you.
Well, I heard a song, and it was a Christian faith based song, not too long ago, and I was listening to it, and it was just basically saying that it was time for, if as the singer, it's just time for me to let go of trying to hold on to my life, any kind of control of
Oh,
my
is
life, and
that
just let
Jesus
go.
takes the wheel?
Yeah, basically,
Jesus take the
it
wheel?
wasn't that
No.
song, but it's kind of the
Oh,
same. I
the
just
same
need to let
premise.
go of trying to control my life and just let my life
Yeah.
happen to me. And I'm like, oh, fuck that. I mean,
Yeah.
shit doesn't just control itself. I mean it. I mean, I'm like, I get your concept of faith and I understand all of it and everything, but this idea that you can just let go of everything and just it'll all just sort itself out. Well, no, you still gotta get on and put your password and username in to play things and take care of business and do this and that. And I don't know. I'm like, at what level are you supposed to just let go of this control of your life? At what level? I mean, I'm assuming there's a level. I just need to, I don't understand where that's at. um, but, so,
I like this. Saint says, "Rule me, daddy government." Quote from John's erotic fantasy book. Who said it was a fantasy book? Seems to be what's happening anyway.
well, um, I don't know. I, it's,
I don't know. Wouldn't that
I,
be funny if I just went like full statist for a while?
I
I
don't,
should
th-
do
I
that.
don't
I should
think
start just being
it's,
like, guys, government's not that bad, guys. Come on.
it,
Seriously, like I know they fuck up sometimes, but most of the time they run very efficiently and they spend your tax money white. I can't even
no,
I can't even do
but when it's all said and done, I mean, no, it wouldn't be believable
it.
coming from you because
Yeah, I
it would take a certain level of I don't know, like
being able to keep a straight face for long enough for one.
or yeah, or any kind of devotion, any kind of anything. It's like you're too lazy to even be a good libertarian, and that's saying a
Well,
lot.
that's what makes me a good libertarian.
No,
So I'm just like,
I,
go away. Do whatever you want. I don't care.
you're like Captain Hands Off Libertarian. I mean, it's like, shoo. Oh no no
Yeah.
no! We don't want anybody making decisions.
Right? Yeah,
uh,
fuck it. Who needs
that would be
decisions?
totally out of character for you, John.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wanted to share. I was going to share something with you.
Oh shit.
I just want to kind of get your take
Did
on
you
it.
just say share, comrade? Oh my
Share.
god, you fucking
All right.
communist.
So I saw this article today, and I don't know whether I need to figure out where my concern level should be at, if anywhere. I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
You want me to
Amazon.
set your terrorism threat level color for the day?
Yeah, you need to
I think
help
right
me.
now we're at magenta,
All
so
right.
I don't know what that means. Figure it out, I
All right.
guess.
Amazon got the stamp of approval this week from America's communications watchdog to operate thousands of internet relaying satellites into low Earth orbit.
Orbit.
Basically, they got the go ahead to deploy 3,236 satellites into orbit at a cost of about $10 billion. It's called Project Kuiper, and it's to deliver internet connectivity to hard to reach areas in the U.S. They're going to go up in 5 batches, the first containing 578 satellites, at which point the service will be switched on. So basically, they're going to put up all of these satellites and they're going to start an internet. Offering an internet service. They're basically doing that all over Wi-Fi kind of thing.
Right.
Um,
I mean, that was inevitable, wasn't it?
but they're giving it to Amazon now. Here's where we start. Okay, we've seen the stories about Alexa, right? This always on, it's there. What's it recording? What's it not recording? How invasive is it in your privacy? And now they they get to go ahead to put up like over 3,000 satellites. Now it's bad
Yeah.
enough. It's bad enough thinking about all the shit that's already up there. And it's like you're going to try and insert another 3,200 satellites into
There's plenty
that
of room.
math fuck up there.
Plenty of room.
They have
You
to.
just got you just bump a few Chinese satellites away
Is
and
that what
you're
we
all
do?
good. Yeah. Maybe
Um,
some direct TV ones, they're not using them anymore. Ain't nobody got that shit anymore. Just bump those. It'll be fine.
so they have through July 30th of 2026 to get 50% of the fleet up, and through 2029 to get the other half up. So that all told, this is over a 10, just under a 10-year period that they're going to get all of these put up and doing this. And the FCC basically was like, this is going to be a good, the broadband services Kuiper proposes to provide will benefit American consumers. So this is a good thing for us that they're going to put it up there. But it's like, okay, Amazon is about to put an information network up above us now, both a
Yeah.
gathering and sending information center.
Yeah.
Do we have concern there? Should that be something concerning?
Well, I mean, so what's the specific thing that you're concerned about, really? Um,
Well,
and I have the same amount
privacy.
of privacy. See, that's the thing is that is something that I bitched about before, but it's like they already have so much of your information just from like if you've been on the internet for any amount of time, they got your information's out there.
But who am I
They know
worried
where to
about?
find.
Who am I worried about using those satellites?
I mean, they're
Amazon,
all going to use them.
not as much Amazon as the people they made the deal with. They made the deal with the government,
Yeah,
a government
government's got your
watchdog
information,
agency,
dude. They
right?
got your
They've
information
got
already.
information, but
They've
this
already
is
got it.
another tool for the. How hard is it to
Yeah,
imagine that they're like, sure, you can put these up as
yeah,
long as you do use them a little to do this for us, right? Um,
yeah,
Helton says uh, Saint said that that would require a suspension of disbelief on our part, talking about
yeah.
you doing
Talking
your
about
thing.
me being a
Uh,
statist. Yeah,
Helton says, I saw a tweet on Twitter. Guy said that my grandfather has voted Republican all of his life, but this fall he is registered as a Democrat. That would not have happened if he was still alive.
yeah. I've seen that going around. It's pretty hilarious.
Once Saint says once Amazon does the direct TV and dish will go under. If we
Yeah,
didn't live in the
probably.
world we do now, this wouldn't be a bad thing. Yeah,
Right, but that's the
that's
thing. That's the thing is though that we do live in the world we live in now, so that's not anything different than what's already happening. I suppose. I guess it does make it harder to escape the grid. That's for sure.
well. I guess I look at it this way. It's like when we talk about something like the Patriot Act, for instance,
Mm,
and privacy. Well, if you're going to dismantle, it's fine and well and good to want to dismantle something like that. But if another avenue is, another tool is added to the structure, that's just, now there's more that has to be dismantled as opposed, that's not, we're not, there's no forward progress being made there. It's just another layer to have to get through to get the dismantling done. It's, it's just the deeper control of our privacy and the spreading of it. See, this is that corporate entity. You know, this is
yeah.
this is a tie-in with the government, another tie-in with the government. I don't necessarily want Amazon having.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously that's a bad thing, but it's not something out of the ordinary. You know what I mean? Like
I get it.
just stopping this wouldn't it would just be putting a band-aid on
Sure,
it. It's not a yeah.
but if you want to put
The
a
issue
fire,
is the government
if you
itself.
want to put a fire out, you don't add more wood to it before you start trying to put it out. You know what I mean? It's just the thought there. I don't
Yeah.
like the idea of this getting more layers to the onion, more layers to dig through. It's and it's Amazon. They're already the biggest thing on the planet,
Yeah.
and now they're gonna be above you. They're gonna be watching.
Big Brother's already watching you though.
Yeah, but they're not Big Brother. They're Big Bezos.
The big babysitter.
He says Saint says would rather them make the deal with our government or another. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I would rather if it. Well, I get. I don't know. I don't know who I'd rather be done by. I don't know. It's got to be done. We're fucked. Just that. There it is, folks. We're fucked.
Yeah. Satan
Um,
had it right. We're boned. Yeah.
I just want to run this by you. I thought this was mildly interesting. We don't have to get into a big talk about it or anything. But
Okay.
the United Nations put out a report, and in it they say North Korea is pressing on with its nuclear weapons program, and several countries believe it has probably developed miniaturized nuclear devices to fit into the warheads of its ballistic missiles.
Yeah. Let me know when they can feed their people. Then I'll be worried.
Hmm. But
Also
how
disband
it
the
is, you know
UN.
how it is with these leaders. It doesn't matter if they can feed their people or not. If
Yeah.
you get a little closer, it's like it's like that cocaine addiction, right? You just do a little more. Got to get a little closer. We're almost there. We're almost there. Um, but no, it's just it's just kind of saying like different countries that in communications, this, that, and the other, watching eye in the sky
All the
kind of
whiskey's gone.
eye in the sky kind of thing is they've all a lot of people are saying they've got a feeling that and I just noticed that we're making sure and getting our National Guard more organized. I was seeing an article. I didn't get deep enough into the article before the show to really go too much into it, but uh, better shoring up our war battalions, whatever, however the
War
lingo is,
battalions.
but
Yeah.
tightening up the divisions in the National Guard and this, that, and the other for because of the potential threat of war with specifically one of two countries, China or Russia. Um, and that kind of thing does give me pause when I'm like, okay, so you're going through the motions of making battle ready plans.
Wait, why did they
Like
mention Russia? Why Russia?
because, well, I mean, it's
What
because
like
of our
what
we've got contention with Russia over the voting thing. Whether the realities and misinformation about
what
it aside,
wait, because we were supposed to
because
be at war with Iran by now. What happened with that?
well,
I thought we
sure,
were
we're
doing
also
that.
supposed to be at war with North Korea. Um,
Well, we are technically still at war with North
but
Korea, but
Russia, it's just like because Russia is the place where you've got to build contention because they became an adversary in the 2016 election, right? With all of
well,
that
they
went
were a
on. Now,
boogeyman. Yeah,
and understand this is what the spin has got to do. But they've got to continue to vilify Russia. They've got to continue.
right.
We have prices put on American military heads, and
Sure.
Trump, of course, in his last talk with Putin on the phone, didn't bring that up at all, and claims that it never came across stuff like that hasn't come across his desk because it's potentially fake news.
Well, I thought
Um,
he watched like 8 hours of Fox News a day, right?
oh no, he doesn't like Fox News anymore.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He has really been coming out against Fox News. So,
Fuck news.
Fox News,
Fuck.
Fox News is fake news
Faux
for
news.
fucked Americans. Those fuckers. Uh, Saint says would
Yeah.
rather says North Korea military movement has increased ever since the rumors of Fat Boy's death. That is true. I don't know. Have we gotten a
I haven't
solid
seen
video
anything.
of him since the all of that happened?
I know he allegedly went to some event somewhere, some like opening of a factory or some shit, but who knows if that was actually him or not? I don't know.
Saint says what I worry about is these weak disgruntled countries coming together to become a powerful enemy, and that's where
I
I'm
think the
more.
chances are pretty slim for that. Which weak disgruntled countries are we talking about exactly? Saying, just because I think that there will be too many like ideological differences between them, but they won't make an effective coalition. But I mean, it depends on which ones you're talking about, of
Well,
course.
it depends on who they are willing to put in charge.
Well,
That's
that's
the
another.
thing,
That would be a huge fight,
right? I mean,
right?
it's
Our guy wants to be in charge. No, no, no.
well,
Our
no, no,
guy.
no.
No, get our
Right,
guy over
right.
here.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if they could agree on who would lead the coalition, which would be the major key there, that would be, and I have to ask you, who do you think it would be? I mean, if you had who's Iran's leader now? Which Ayatollah
I
is
don't fucking know.
we got him. We got Kim Jong Un in North Korea. We've got Putin in Russia, and we've got Xi Jinping in
Putin.
China. Out of those
We got
four,
Putin.
who do you put in charge of a coalition of baddies?
Putin. That's why we're going to war with Russia, isn't it?
But I
God damn
mean,
it.
is that just you're just throwing that out there,
No, I
or
think that I
like
think he would make the best.
military?
I think he would actually make the best leader out of the three. I think he would actually make the best leader.
So he's got the militaristic chops to make that work.
I don't know, maybe, but I mean, he's the most powerful of those three countries, and I don't know. I don't
Would
think you
would
be able to
China
put.
agree that he's more powerful than them? You think Xi Jinping would accede to that fact?
Um. Ooh, I don't know, but I don't think he would want to do that either. He's mainly interested in like Southeast Asia at the
Well,
moment,
well,
and they're
here's the
friends. Russia and China are friends for the most
well,
part.
the reason why I say I kind of agree with Saint about the disgruntled countries coming together is this. You know, if you're looking for weakness, um, Trump, to a certain extent, from certain angles, is exhibiting some of that by alienating himself with allies and then talking tough talk with some of these disgruntled countries, and even having to talk tough talk with people that he would rather recognize as friends, like Putin, but he's got to tough talk and do tough things, sanction wise, etc., because of actions Russia takes. You can't just be friends with them and overlook things, right? Um, but I mean, if I were
Hmm.
looking for weakness in a country, that would be it. Is if they're alienating themselves from their allies, and I mean,
Yeah, well, fuck Europe at the moment. So
right, and
I
that
mean,
might
Europe
be
is
the
totally
same.
cucked.
That might be the same thing Europe thinks. I mean, as long as they're not threatened by something that a coalition of countries did to
Oh,
the
they would
United,
be.
they would, if they weren't immediately threatened and drawn into the war,
They would be.
if their interests weren't impacted immediately, they could do a standoff thing like we did in World War II, where
I
it's like,
mean,
hey, Trump
Russia
made his
would Russia
bed.
would have to do a preemptive strike on Western Europe.
You don't think they would be able to hold off on that to try and focus
Yeah, they're
on
too
America?
close. It's like
All right,
geographically, they're too close.
gotcha.
They're way
Uh,
too close to Europe. They would need to do a preemptive strike. First of all, they would need a blitzkrieg through Ukraine, and then like make their way, westward. It would just, I don't know. I don't see it happening like that.
I don't
I think
know.
it's much more likely than an all-out war that it would be some kind of like cyber attacks all the time, like terrorist attacks and things like that.
Sure, I could
That's
see
much more likely than like an actual
which
all-out war or an
which is
invasion or something.
well, that's what they've tried to equate a lot of what's been going on with cyber attacks from China, cyber attacks from Russia, cyber
Yeah,
attacks from Iran.
yeah, exactly. I think you're
They're
more likely to see that than you are,
well,
boots on the ground.
if they're equating that, if they're going to start equating that to warfare, then we may be closer to declaring war than we think. You know
Right.
what
In
I
which
mean?
case, we would go over there as opposed to
Right.
them coming here.
Potentially, right? So it begins to be a whole fucking dicey ball game. Uh, Saint says the chances are slim, but not non-existent.
Of course, yeah.
Michael Vega in the house. Good to see you, Michael. He says,
What up?
imagine if the Slavs stopped being bigoted cunts and actually came together willingly. A Slav is a Slav.
Yeah, tell them that.
Saint says Russia allies with China and then bridges the gap between Iran and Pakistan and any other Muslim allies. See, he sees some of that movement, some of that smart thinking.
Yeah, I
That
don't know. There's a lot of problems with that, though. There's a lot of things along ethnic and religions lines that I don't think is going to make that bridge gapping or like bridging the gap thing easy. I
well,
don't think it's going to happen. First of all, quickly, and I don't think it's gonna. It'd be a shaky alliance at best.
well, I think it would rely on how far is the principle of the enemy of my enemy, the mindset, how
Yeah.
far that would play out, because that's what it's really going to come down to. And anybody joining one side or the other is okay. What you know what do I stand to gain? What is this the
Right, and then
is
all it would
this
take is one of them doing something underhanded, and then they're going to turn on each other.
I mean, it's their individual sizes and incapabilities that prevent them from doing anything. But whenever it's a group,
Right, I understand that. What I'm saying is that
immediately.
as soon as one of them does something underhanded to one of the other two or three, whatever many people are, how many countries are in this, as soon as one of them does something underhanded like that to one of them, that's it. It's over, and they're fighting amongst themselves,
If they unless they
trying to grab
have
up whatever they've gained
unless they have
for
somebody strong to
themselves.
keep it all under control. I mean, we've seen in the past, very charismatic leaders and very strong leaders that were able to, do some fucking amazing shit that you know,
Right,
you would have expected. Yeah, no, yeah, that's all that shit happened. I'm not
well,
saying anybody in particular, but you know what I'm saying.
uh huh.
Saint is retracting messages that I'm
Why are
getting.
you retracting messages saying no?
He says another thing I can see happening is Russia deposing the communist government, installing the Uyghurs. Is it
Uyghurs,
Uyghurs?
I think
Uh,
so.
Vegas says that'd be interesting. Saint says which would allow for fluid alliances with Iran and Pakistan. Michael Vegas says, has
Why?
anyone watched Tread yet? I don't think so.
No, what is that? Is that a? Send it to me.
Please
I can look
explain.
up.
Wyatt, good to see you this evening, sir. Yeah, no, it's interesting. It's I Robert show feet. What? Jake from Freedom Scoop wants me to show feet.
Dude,
Why am I
now you
showing?
have to
Why do I want to show feet? Good
show
God, you
feet.
don't want to see these things. I've been running around
I mean,
outside barefoot all day.
he did donate a diamond. I mean, I think you kind of owe him feet.
Do I? Here,
I
here's
think
a foot.
so.
There,
Oh my god, you did it! Ew.
there you go.
Gross.
That's
Wow.
a foot.
That's all it took.
That's a foot that rarely sees shoes. I don't know.
That's a Florida foot right there.
Ed says,
Is
is
Cenk a
Saint a Uyghur?
Uyghur? I believe he is. Yeah.
No, but I would wonder, how much are we ignoring the rest of the world right now in all of our focus with the coronavirus, this, that, and the other? I mean, what little things are going on and are people getting away with that we would normally want to keep an eye on out there? Um, I mean, we this is an idea of a taste of what that isolationism would look like, where it's like, okay, I mean, how much info I watched it. Don't really see a lot of information coming about what's going on over in China, unless it's specifically, something to do with the coronavirus in a country, that kind of
Yeah.
thing, or TikTok, things like this, business kind of news here and there, but not too much on the shifty, shady dealings going on. Normally, you'd just be polluted with it in the news stream because it's all easily politicized.
Well, yeah, but I mean, didn't you hear though? Trump farted one time. I think like back in the '70s. So that's much more important, obviously.
Um, Is now if I remember correctly, was that the fart heard round the world, or is that a different one I'm thinking of?
I think that's a different one. Pretty sure that was actually the Biden one, wasn't it? Wasn't that Biden?
Was the Biden one the one heard
Wait, was
round the
that?
world
I'm trying to think. Was that Biden or was that somebody else? That was another one of the old presidential candidates, I think.
that farted?
Can't remember. Yeah, farted like during an interview,
No president has ever farted.
or wasn't that the? It might have been. I think I'm getting it wrong. I think it was actually the anchor that farted or something like that. The person I was interviewing, and I don't remember.
You know, when you
Whatever.
become president, they remove your fart gland. Duh.
Fart. I like it.
You are no longer able to fart. You don't have to worry about that embarrassment. Because I mean, what? Nothing worse than sitting in front of world leaders.
And just ripping a fat one, and not that kind of fat one either. Yeah, it is rather unfortunate, isn't it?
Uh,
It was swallow well. Gotcha. It was swallow well.
it was swallowed.
Yeah, that's right. It
Hey,
was him.
let me see if I can make this video work. I thought this was kind of funny, and I thought you might enjoy this.
Ugh.
Um, that what was that? Was that a disgusted sigh?
It was, and I was trying to think of something funny to say afterwards, and then it just didn't come to me, so I left it at that.
Oh, is that right? I thought
Oh, there
this
you
was.
go. Michael Vegas says show Bob and Vagine. I don't know how to pronounce that. Vagine.
Here, I'll share this with you, and then I'll put it
It's
on for
yeah.
everybody else too.
Show
Let's see if.
Bob open Vagine.
So you see
Vagine.
this? You got this video, right?
Wow, E-Bombs World, my dude. All right.
But this was kind of funny.
Ты снимаешь, что ли, снимаешь? Она снимает, что ли, кажется?
They wanted to wear a mask.
Dude, epic. Fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Now she's got a mask. Go fuck yourself. I love it. Hell yeah. I like the dude next to her, like, not responding at all.
Right? Every
Like,
day
yeah,
I see this. Every
right?
day I'm shuffling it.
Yeah, speaking of fetishes.
Panties are an old one though. So that's how you answer the mask issue. If someone,
Yeah.
John, are you willing to
Take my panties off
take
and
your
put them on my
boxers
head.
off and put them on your head?
Not generally.
Oh, where'd it go?
I'm sure there would be an instance at some point in time where that would be something I could consider, but generally no.
There we go. Lost you for a second, John. You were floating out in the world.
Oh fuck! I thought I felt like light and aloof.
So if anyone asks you to wear a mask, folks, there's an option for you.
Yeah, just take your panties off and put them on your head.
Now, there's another one I was going to show you. I thought I don't like to laugh at people's pain. I don't. But in
right.
seeing the one, I was like, okay, well, I got to see this one too. So I'm going to share this one with you. This one was kind of funny. You got to watch real close on this one. This is one of those where it's like, okay, you got to make sure and catch it at the right time and see what's going on. But this was. Yeah. So see that guy? Whoa!
Whoa!
Did you catch that?
I did.
So
that's insane.
This guy right here, I think has something. He drags it cord, but anyway, it gets caught and gets pulled. And now this is the guy. Can you see? I don't know. Can you see my cursor? I don't know.
I can see your cursor.
But anyway, the guy right by the yellow little cab thing or whatever it is. Yeah, he takes a ride. It's fun to watch. Whoa! Boom!
Right into the shake.
Right.
Poor woman. She had no idea it was coming either.
I mean, it's just like I could watch that all day. He's just boom, just boom. Right into her. Not that I like to laugh at people's pain, but
I mean, come on, that's funny.
it's okay. One more time, just one more time. Here you go. Oops. Bang. Whoa. Bam. Oh, man. And she saw it coming at the last second too. Saw it coming
Not enough time.
at the last second, but not enough time to do anything about it. Um, oh, who shared? Oh, gotcha.
Like, who's
That's
sharing
good to
their
know.
screen?
That's good to know. Good. Okay. But anyway, I had to share that with you. I thought you might enjoy it a little bit.
I enjoyed it a little bit, yeah.
A little.
A little bit.
It's not as good as Panties on the Head, but
Yeah, that one was good. I liked it because it was just such a fuck you.
do you recommend that?
Of course,
Is that something
absolutely.
you'd like to see more of?
Although I think you should like carry an extra pair of panties with you instead of having to like drop trow and yeah, it's kind of inconvenient. And I mean, there's also like legal issues with doing that. No, I mean if you're hot enough, it's fine, right? But if you're unattractive and you're out there trying to take your panties off, put them on your head, it's not going to work out too well for you. So I recommend just carrying an extra pair in your back pocket or something, or in your purse, whatever, or in
Yeah.
your European handbag or whatever the fuck. But yeah, your
Yeah, I'm
satchel.
like sitting here. I'm going. There are some moments
Do
where
it.
it's perfectly fine to go that route, and then others, like you said, yeah, no, just please
Yeah,
just have an extra pair in your bag.
yeah. Carry an extra pair with you and do
Nobody
it. It'll
wants
be
to see you
hilarious.
swap. No, don't take them off.
Yeah,
No, no, no. Leave those on. Really.
and then you have no underwear for the rest of the day. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
yeah, it's just not a good time.
That yeast hasn't fermented yet. Um, what? Did I say that out loud?
I don't know what you said, so
Helton says panties are appropriately ridiculous for ridiculous arbitrary government bullshit. All
right,
right.
100%.
Now I have a question for you, John. All right.
I have an answer for you.
And this is, in regards to your libertarianism.
Oh, gross.
And I want
Ew.
to,
Libertarians are so cringe. Oh
I
my
just need
god.
to make sure I have clarification on this. All right.
Okay.
So, as a libertarian, at what point does wearing a mask become a responsibility of the community
Did from the
versus?
beginning.
Hmm?
It was from the beginning.
Well, no. Okay. So, so the idea that even people are like there was a lot of misinformation. People are like ad efficacy.
Yeah.
It's just the idea that we should be wearing masks when we're out in public with other people. That is, that's kind of a community guideline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is what we should be seeing that
Ain't
as.
nothing wrong with the guideline, so long as it's
Okay.
not mandatory.
Okay. So at what point does it become the responsibility of a member of the community to follow that guideline?
From the beginning. I mean,
But if they don't, that there's there's no accountability for that lack of
right.
responsibility.
Right. Other than businesses telling you you can't enter my establishment without a mask. So in which case you would obviously have to put one on before you go in. Um, yeah, it's just the state mandated mask wearing that's the issue. But if a
Um,
business wants to do that, if they want to do that, even if there's not a pandemic, they're just like, yeah, we require you to wear, silly goggles or something before you come in here. I mean, that's within their right to do it. It's your right to walk away from that shop and go somewhere else.
well, how many people do you think are not wearing masks, even in places where there are no mandates? It's just put
Mhm.
out there as community requests, guidelines, etc. How many
Yeah,
people are just not wearing them out of spite?
I
Because
don't know. I mean, I'm sure
you
there
know what I
are
mean.
those who are doing it. Yeah,
Oh, the disease, the coronavirus is not a big deal. This, that, and the other thing. Um, it it goes to this idea that about whether or not at local levels they should be they're okay to implement mandates or not, right? Because of course when we're talking about a smaller, less centralized government, more
right.
local,
Yeah,
um, when do you reach a line where you need to I guess mandate the responsibility that people will not take upon themselves to
You
do.
don't.
There's just you can't do it. There
Yeah.
it's not acceptable to.
Liberty over safety always.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well then, but that you if you start to broaden that out, then you run into areas where there are laws in place
Hmm.
that would still be in place were a libertarian society, right? I mean, there'd still be laws against murder.
Maybe not in an official sense, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, of course there would be laws against murder. That's violating someone else's right.
Right. So
Yeah.
I guess that is that's where I'm running into things. It's like where do you draw a line as to whether or not something should be regulated by a law in a libertarian society and where something should not be
Should be
regulated by a law?
to defend, to guarantee that everyone's rights are maintained. That's where you draw the line. So murder, theft, any other kind of, violation of rights, property or otherwise.
So what if, and then that brings into question then to me, is it, if you know that you are symptomatic, are
Hmm.
you now violating someone else's right? Are you violating the NAP by going out in public without wearing a face covering? Does that, where, then we start to ask those gray area questions, right?
Yeah,
Because unfortunately, even in a libertarian society, it can't be black and white.
right. And as Ron Helton puts it, if you're sneezing and coughing, you really should respect others and stay home, which is 100% true. You absolutely should. Um, but yeah, in that case, yeah, if you're scared of being infected, then yeah, don't go out. And if you do, wear a mask the whole time. You'll probably be okay. You know, I don't have a problem with that at all.
So,
If someone wants to be irresponsible and leave, I mean, your safety is your
right.
responsibility,
Well,
not
right.
theirs, not someone else's responsibility. Your safety is your responsibility.
Well,
So if you're afraid of being infected, stay home as much as possible. If you have to go out, then make sure you wear a mask, make sure you social distance, and you will be fine. And that's all you really can do.
um, I couldn't make the argument that someone is violating the NAP if they're intentionally going out in public symptomatic with the disease
If they're intentionally spreading it to people,
or going out with
I
the
could see
intention of,
that different. With the intention of spreading it is
right.
different, I
Be-
would think.
because
But
technically you're knowingly going out with a disease, then would you argue there's intent there? I guess there's necessity
no,
if you have to go get
yeah.
stuff, but
And I mean, also, if you're, symptomatic and you're going around wearing a mask, that's what the mask is supposed to be for, is for people who have it to not spread it to others. It's not going to protect you if you don't have it. It's only going to protect others if you wear a mask and you have
right.
it. So, I mean, yeah, as long as you're doing that, then I would say that you're mitigating that risk as much as possible. So, therefore, you are being responsible and not intentionally spreading it if it does happen.
Yeah. So that's that's where I start to, I think that's one of those hurdles with libertarianism that I have trouble getting is like, okay, where,
Okay.
you know
It
in
comes it comes down to the principle of personal responsibility. You are responsible for your own safety. No one else is at all times. Like, yeah, you can call the cops, but they're, what, 10, 15 minutes away, more sometimes, depending on where you live. You know, um, you are your own first and last line of defense against anything. It's not just about guns or, someone trying to kill you or do you harm in any other way. It's at all times.
hmm,
Every time you step outside of your door, you're taking a risk that you might get hit by a car or you might, anything could happen.
there's too many people.
To be
There's too many
afraid of
crazy
going
people.
outside, I mean, it's an irrational thing. You're taking a risk, but you can, mitigate that risk as much as possible.
You say that ironically in the one time in our lives where it really is kind of catch 22 with going outside. Like it's you don't feel 100% secure going out in public anymore, and not just because of the coronavirus. There's so many other things
Yeah.
to factor in as well that make going out in public uneasy these days in a lot of places. Right? I mean, it's
Right.
you could just say the wrong thing without ever opening your fucking mouth. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Health says, remember they told us we didn't need masks and now we do. They are morons. I agree. It takes some time to get it right. I mean, but I will say this: if we ever expected science to get things right the first time, we were fools. I mean, I can promise you that with most diseases that have come out, there has been misleading and misinformed information given out. Now, that's not to say that this is an exemplary example of, you know, fake news, misinformation, everyone trying to chase the politics, the blame, the
Yeah.
fear monsters, yes,
And see,
I
that's part
get
of
it.
part of the fear mongering is turning people on each other.
Right.
Having people snitch on each other. Remember that the like what is it, social distancing violation like hotline that was in New York? I don't know if it's still there. I'm sure it got PTFO'd because the phone number was out on the internet. So
Right.
I'm sure they received all kinds of dick pics and stuff.
I mean,
But but yeah, I mean
yeah.
that's some reign of terror bullshit from the French Revolution. Like you can't say anything to anyone because if you're not excited enough about the revolution, that's when the secret police come knocking down your door. Then you get the guillotine next. Same
Right.
kind of shit's happening with the Corona shit.
Right.
Everyone's snitching on each other. You don't want to put your opinion out because you might get canceled, right? You might
Right.
it could be anything. Yeah, you could get fired because of your opinion on masks
But
because you're
see,
not excited enough about the masks, right? So yeah, it's all the same shit, and
well,
it's just happening again.
I think the biggest downfall to it all is the simple fact that, and I'll use it, and this is purely as an example. Suppose wearing masks as a whole, if we were doing that, it was
Hmm.
the answer to slowing down, slowing the disease down and the spread, et cetera, to where it
Hmm.
was more manageable, et cetera, et cetera. You can't convince people of that now because of the back and forth that went on
Yeah,
with
maybe
it
if they
in the
weren't lying to
beginning.
people from the beginning, then
Well,
people would be
everybody
more
says
likely to
they were
believe
lying.
them.
Everybody, who was lying? That's the thing. It's like, who was lying?
Yeah, who was lying?
Who was spinning truth? Who was doing
Correct,
this? Who was doing that? You know,
correct. Who
to
was
we,
doing all of that stuff?
and everybody has some idea. Everybody has some direction to point their finger, but I can promise you there's a good strong chance that very few people are pointing a finger in the right direction because nobody really knows for sure who was the most wrong or who was, you know, what information they gave out versus what information got put out. There's so many things in that stew.
Yeah,
So who, when people sit and say, they get in their position and they say, well, no, this is the way it is. This doesn't mean
yeah,
anything, and that doesn't mean anything, and this is what it means something, and this is what's right. Well, how is your source the right source with every
right.
bit of information? So, you know, I, I don't know that I can stand behind anybody that takes a solid ground on this.
Yeah,
Whether
I
it's the
agree.
president, whether it's the CDC, whether it's this scientist doing this report, this study, there's nowhere you can give me solid footing. All you're
Yeah.
doing when you have these firm beliefs in who's right and who's wrong is that's what you're grasping to,
Well, it's faith based. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's what you're holding on to tell
It's
yourself
yeah.
because
You're saying I want my side to be right, therefore I'm going to believe what my side is saying. Yeah.
um,
And And any of them can be wrong. In fact, they probably are. All of them are.
Ron says it's a safety theater, just like the worthless TSA.
Yeah. TSA really is fucking worthless.
You know, it started off with the best intentions. I'm not gonna
Of
lie. You
course,
know,
they always do.
it always starts off with the best intentions, but like
Right.
anything, I mean, it's is easily corrupted by human error and human thinking. You know, I mean, it's just leave it open to humans to fuck it up, and it will get fucked up. If a computer was running it only, there's a better chance it wouldn't have gotten fucked up.
Who's making the
Just saying.
computer though?
Uh, Helen says the TSA is security theater. They're not keeping anybody safe.
Yeah.
No, they keep
No,
themselves safe.
they fail all the time. Like they'll
Yes, they do.
they run like internal tests and stuff. They'll put things through like the X-ray belts or whatever. They fail all the time.
Right.
Because I mean, they're just lowly paid government workers. They're just there for the paycheck. They don't give
Right.
a fuck.
I mean,
And I get it. That's a soul crushing job. Fuck that job. I wouldn't want to do it. I
right.
totally get why they're that way, but it's proving that they're fucking useless.
And I
As
think
most
that's
government jobs are. Most
yeah. I
government.
think that's where
Yeah.
they're failed by the government in that effect. And then and then they're susceptible to other really horrible things like government shutdowns and things like this. And it's like
Yeah.
you guys are getting the short end of the fucking stick, not getting
Yeah.
paid enough for what you're having to do.
Yeah.
Not getting
When I
paid enough
was
to give a shit.
when I was doing karate, one of the instructors there was she worked at the TSA at the Orlando airport, and she bitched all the time about that job, about what a shitty job it is. Yeah, I
Helen
mean,
says
hence why she had to get a second job, teaching karate to little kids who didn't want to be there.
right.
Like,
There's at least one that wants to be there.
oh yeah, no, I was that one when I was a kid. Yeah.
Ron says the government's main job is to protect our liberties, so instead of that, they have destroyed our liberties, and we are neither safe nor free. Thanks, government. But remember, the government didn't have to come in and destroy your liberties. People handed their liberties over to the government.
Willingly. Yeah.
Handed them over. Because, again,
I didn't. I don't consent.
People will sacrifice liberty for freedom.
No, for safety, not for freedom.
Well,
they're doing it for safety.
They see safety. Freedom and safety equate. I mean, the safety / freedom to walk out your door and not worry about a bomb dropping on you and not worrying about a bunch of
safety.
Guys. Yeah,
That's
but
safety.
I mean, but this but what people tie things together as they see it as their freedom. They see it as part of living in America, the land of the free.
By the way, Ron Helton, I think that's South Dakota that you're thinking of. He says, which state was it that released their data? They were not wearing masks. They had lower percentage of infections in states mandating masks. I think that was South Dakota, if I'm not mistaken. But to be fair, they're all pretty socially distanced anyway. I mean, it's about 4 or 5 miles between you and your neighbor. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's actually the case, obviously. I'm sure I'm sure they're just as civilized as the rest of the world. Oh my God. But, yeah. I don't know. I've never been.
Michael Vega says the mask is a lie. I gotcha, but what's your source? I gotta know. Who's your source? Remember, again, in all of this, the best any of us are going to go on is what we choose to believe, where we choose to invest our belief and our faith in this. And Ron, I might have to say that is something that's been brainwashed into us as well. This idea that we have to have something to hold on to, something to believe in.
Well, I don't think that's brainwashed. I think that's just human nature. You need something. Yeah, we're a hierarchical species. We need to believe in some kind of something that is greater than ourselves.
But that's that's the American dream too, is to strive for something greater, great.
Yeah.
Good,
well, the American dream specifically is to leave your kids better off than you were when you were their age, when you were a kid. That's the
is that how they're teaching it now? Is it? I don't know if that's how they're teaching the American dream now.
I don't know if that's how anyone's teaching it, but that's my interpretation of the American dream.
Sometimes
is to do better than your parents did and to leave your kids better off than you were.
I think sometimes it feels like to me they somebody finally adopted that old thing from when I was a kid. He who has the most toys wins. And I think sometimes I feel like that's where we might be at. Um, Nephilim in the house. He says the lie is a symptomatic. The lie is a symptomatic spread. If you're not coughing or sneezing, you don't need a mask. If you're sick, stay home. Vitamin
Yeah.
D reduces effects by 1/3. Do that if you want to feel proactive. I run around in the sun. I soak up as much vitamin D as I can.
Ha.
What?
Loving that D, aren't you?
You know,
Haha.
it's hot D. I'm just saying, coming from the sun. You know. Helton says, which state was it that released their
Oh,
data?
I
They were
read that one
offering
already.
masks. They had a lower percentage. Oh, what state did you say it
I
was?
think it was South Dakota, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And then, yeah, I like what Michael Vega said. Thought about trying for TSA auditor and then remembered it's a government job and that's theft. Yeah, it's true. I mean, you're stealing from people who already stole, so I don't know. That's kind of morally gray there because it's not their property to begin with. Maybe if you got a job doing that and then, like, either donated all of your paycheck to charity, or if you, I don't know, maybe if you just gave it to random people off the street, then yeah, that might not be as theft as it otherwise would be.
You know, I I wonder maybe they should have like illegal immigrants work TSA.
Okay.
I think illegal immigrants might be more motivated to do a good job, like to especially if if there was citizenship writing on it, and like if you fuck up and let something go by, you're going to be deported. You know, things like that. Incentives is what I like to call them. It's to get paid. You know.
Right.
But I think we could incentivize them properly to do like a bang up TSA job. I mean, we've got illegal immigrants from all around the world, so there's a lot of skill sets coming to it.
Yeah,
Just saying.
it's true. I
Ed,
don't know.
Ed's asking if anyone else is buffering.
I
Ed,
just
that's
looked.
kind of
I
a
think we're
personal
good.
question, isn't it?
I don't know. It looks to me like we're good. So,
I already buffered a couple of times today. I don't do that on the show.
uh, it's
Um,
buffing, not buffering. Wow, Ron Helton. I respect your principled stance. Oh, we're buffering bad according to Ron Helton, but he usually has problems. So I don't know.
my
It
yeah
looks fine to me.
yeah
When
my output is
Oh, there we
showing
go.
fine.
No, no, no. We're buffering a little bit. It looks like.
Well, my output from OBS is strong, showing strong for everybody. So
Yeah, I don't know
not
what the deal
sure.
is.
Maybe it's the interwebs having an issue. I have noticed that YouTube's chat again. Restream has stopped populating it,
Saint's
and
not buffering. So as
ah
long as Saint can see it, I'm happy.
yeah. If Saint's not buffering, then it's got to be you guys. See, and I say something about YouTube chat, and then suddenly, boom, here it comes. It starts coming in up there on
Yeah, Ron
Restream.
Helton says he stopped flying because of TSA. It's all nonsense. Like, holy shit, dude.
Well,
That's
I had
that's insane. That's awesome.
a good friend of
I
mine,
respect that.
a neighbor of mine. She worked for TSA, and she would tell me all sorts of stories about the goings on there.
Yeah,
And she was like,
pretty shitty place.
she's like, yeah, she said they've got lots of restrictions and this, that, and the other thing, but even that, she's like, even the, the small bottle scenario, the travel size bottles and stuff. She said there's some
It's a scam.
concoctions you can make just using that amount of stuff, and we
Not
would
only
never
that, it's
know that
ridiculous
that's
because
what's in there.
it's like you bring like a full size, Coke bottle through, and they're like, "Oh, no, 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 you can't bring that through. You have to throw it away." It's like, why? Because it might be a bomb. Oh, so you want me to put it right here in front of all these other people in the trash can so it can blow up everyone in
Right,
line?
but
Big freak.
you can bring a bunch of you can bring a bunch of travel size bottles of unknown liquids,
Yeah,
as long
that's
as they're
fine.
not explosive type liquids, But once mixed together, they can make some pretty potent,
Right,
crazy
and
shit,
Coke is
right?
explosive if you put a Mentos in it. Like, I don't know, or is that only Diet Coke? I don't fucking know.
Michael Vegas says all your gov doctors say the virus dies in about 70 degrees and some pussy ass humidity, Robert. But apparently, my state in summer isn't killing this alleged virus. Suspicious? Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, Michael. I don't know. Line up, give me a bunch of doctors. I can guarantee you, I'm going to get differing opinions on the coronavirus from these different doctors. And then when you start factoring in sources that have, irons in the fire, they've got an axe to grind, whatever the case may be. Sources with information. Is it the right information? Is it solid information? And are they going to present it in a solid way? Are they going to twist it to their ends, to their means? I cannot guarantee any information that I get about the coronavirus.
Yeah, not at all.
Anybody,
I don't.
any one of you can take a hard, firm stance on what's right and wrong about this information, that information, but you cannot 100% assure me that you're telling me solid information because you're going to quote a source and it's a corruptible source. I mean, we look at the coronavirus now and we talk about the WHO, the CDC, misinformation coming out from them. Well, guess what? Same thing happened with the AIDS, the HIV/AIDS virus back in the 80s. And that was they were giving out solid
Yeah.
information and then were told to stomp on it.
Did you
So
have to
is
wear
that
masks on your butthole though
well,
during the 80s?
no,
When
no,
the
no,
HIV thing
because
was
they
going
were
around.
squashing information at that time. But
Ah,
but here, it's like, okay, well, what's being twisted? What's actually coming out? What's being twisted? What's serving an agenda?
right.
Nobody knows
I mean, all
dick.
of it is. That's the problem. Yeah, exactly. Everyone has like the same amount of information, basically.
Yeah,
It's just how they interpret it.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. That's why I don't generally look at like Corona or COVID news or whatever. I don't usually look at that shit because I mean, it's all just going to be we're doomed. It's all hopeless. Okay, next thing, Biden's in the lead. Next thing, fucking Trump's losing. Trump is bad. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason to even look at it. I already know what the news is.
Well, the only thing that I can strongly take away from it is, whatever I do about a mask, I wear, my choice to wear it, this, that, and the other. The only solid piece of information I've got that I can go on is social distancing myself from every fucking buddy, which I'm on board with pre-corona,
Like generally, yeah.
right? Um, and that's what everybody needs. Just stay the fuck away from each other. That's the only solid thing that you can do in this that makes any fucking sense. Stay the
Yeah.
fuck away from other people.
Right. And you don't need the government to tell you that, do you? You just did that anyway.
Just stay the fuck away from people. Don't, I don't go burn down fucking buildings and shit, and don't don't have a big party in downtown, block party, because you want to see how many people you can get there without masks just to show your
Right.
ass. And
But of course you
you know
can protest if you want. If you're protesting for the right thing, you can do that. But
can't.
that's it.
Yeah, I
Nothing
mean,
else.
yeah, protest is fine.
But the coronavirus stays away from
the
it.
the
They
going
don't
and
mess with protests.
burning down buildings has not been
Yeah.
shown to greatly decrease the spread of the coronavirus.
Well, they're
So
just
if
they're just
that's your
setting it on
thing,
fire. They're just setting it on fire because apparently the heat kills the virus. So they're just doing everyone a favor. You know, that's all it is.
Helton says to replace the TSA with ex-Mexico City cops, then he can slip them a 20 not to grope or strip search him.
I'm down.
But see, there's your problem, Helton. You want to get rid of the two best parts of the fucking TSA experience,
The grope and strip search.
right? I'm like, why aren't you groping me?
Have you ever been randomly selected? I guess when was the last time you flew?
Hmm?
I was asking when was the last time you flew. Like, have you ever been randomly selected?
Um, no, I don't think I've never been pulled. Now I've been pulled after, and primarily it's interesting with my wife. If my wife flies, we can both go. She'll go through first. she'll go through the security scanner first, and we know for a fact she's going to get pulled. And they'll usually pull me after the scanner as well for a final check uh, because I'm with her. But she always has
Hmm.
manure residue on her hands
Ah,
from
yeah.
working in the garden.
Right.
So there's particulate there, maybe under her nails or whatever the case may be, from compost, whatever. So it picks up those little. She has always been pulled to the side after going through that, just so they can do one more sweep on her and scan just to check. Um,
Yeah, I've only been pulled aside for I had like a 4 pack or 5 pack of lighters or something like that in my bag. And it was funny too because she opens up the bag. She's like, we just saw something. We're gonna try. We're just gonna check on it. And then like, so she's all professional, right? She opens it up and she's like, she sees the lighters and she's like, "Girl, I told you them with lighters." Like that. I was just like, "Oh my god!"
right.
Like all the professionalism just went out. She was just yelling at the other chick over there. "Girl, I told you those with lighters."
Michael Vega says social distancing is bad. Need to keep your immune system active according to germ theory, or are we debating that too? I'm not really debating any of the whether we should or shouldn't be doing it. I of course want to I love to see how it plays against the libertarian mindset. Um, it's interesting to watch how the sheep will respond to this, and by sheeple, it's many categories of sheeple in this, in
Yeah.
the ways that people are being led around by the nose. But, um, you know, germ theory, whatever. Yeah, I get it. And I,
Stop
I,
being a science
I don't want to
denier
be.
of
I
it.
don't want to be around people right now.
Well,
There's
yeah, but
too.
that's a
There's
choice anyway. I
right.
mean, yeah, you
I
should
mean,
have that choice not to
yeah.
be around
I
people.
mean
Mm.
the contention level that we've reached in this country is more than enough for social distancing. Add on coronavirus, add on George Floyd protests slash Black Lives Matter riots and all that shit. And yep, social distancing is not bad, sir. Your germ theory will just have to work a little harder and get into my into my house and into my yard. It's just gonna have to do that because I'm staying away from as many people as possible. It's just gonna have to happen. Helen says he's got selected for special screening 3 times in a row each month that he flew for the same flight from Pensacola to Oklahoma City. Um,
Damn.
was it? Do you think the turban had anything to do with it, or do you think you were just being profiled in general?
I think it was the fact that he kept tying his shoes while in line
Right,
that they're just like, I don't know about this guy. I don't
right,
know.
right. Especially because they were slip-on loafers.
Right. Yeah, it was
You
kind
know,
of like, what's going on there?
he says he stopped flying after that. I told the pricks that if they were the lottery, I would be filthy fucking rich.
That's
Right.
true. He'd be insanely rich. Winning the lottery 3 times.
Yeah. Michael Vegas says I got screened for bomb residue after the X-ray thing kept beeping on me last year.
Well, make sure you wash your hands after you're done making bombs, dude. Goddamn. Tisk tisk.
Helton says, I remember reading
Noobs.
that HIV could be spread by mosquitoes. I don't know if the news started that rumor, an independent expert, or the CDC. Actually, that was
I mean, it makes sense. It
a
follows logically.
well, right, which was what gave that more credence.
Yeah.
It made it more believable to just to put it bluntly to the hetero community, as it were. Um, it was easy to sell that, but there was that, if I remember correctly, was kind of a 4chan kind of thing. It was a trolling thing that kind of got started. Somebody made that logical jump, and then the rumors started going around. But then because it was, I believe, the CDC specifically, I think, that debunked that and said that there wasn't excess concern of transmission through mosquito bite.
Yeah.
Um,
Ron Helton said, "Wow, never had any hits on making on bomb making residue."
right.
Apparently, lotion can be mistaken for it. So if you apply
Depends on what they
lotion,
put in it, right?
Yeah, you could potentially get flagged for that.
Yeah.
Just having lotion,
Yeah.
which means stop jerking off before you go to the airport. God damn it! Like I understand, you're gonna be in the air for a long time. You just want to rub one out, beforehand. But you either do it dry or get different lotion or something. I don't know.
Well, that's why I told my wife. I told her she needs to make sure and wear one of her gardening T-shirts when she's going through for flights anymore. Michael Vega jokes on TSA. I don't use lotion.
I guess seems like the joke was on you. I don't know. Maybe you're attractive. I don't know. Maybe they're
Yeah,
just like, yeah, I want to pat him down. Oh yeah.
that bomb residue stuff. I mean, like I said, my wife. It's not like she doesn't shower and clean up after she's played out in the
Right, but
garden,
it's still
right?
gonna be yeah,
But
it's
it's
still gonna be there a
surprising
little bit.
how minuscule amounts can stick with you enough to
Yeah,
trigger those things. And you never know what substance is going to be, like you said, with lotions, etc. It's
yeah.
fucking crazy. But anyway, hey, let's go ahead and do a couple of things real quick. While we've got everybody here, we're going to be wrapping this up. But before we do, John, tell them what's going on in
Less than three
this
weeks
month.
now.
Less than three.
Yeah. Friday, August 21st, 21st, 21st. We've got our 12-hour live stream for St. Jude's, and we're raising money for St. Jude's. Once again, they like us, we like them. At least I assume they like us, but that's what I'm saying.
They've never complained about the money.
They never complained, yeah. They weren't like, what was it, Toys for Tots or something that didn't want our money? But yeah, so we're doing that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Noon to midnight Eastern, the only real time zone. Yeah, we'll be doing a Jeopardy game, which is going to be fun. I think that's going to be my favorite part, other than the sea shanty part, which is going to be even better, I think.
John will be
I'm still
stripping.
working on trying to get like some professional singers on. They seem to think that they're too good for us, our little middling podcast. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But either way, there will be shanty singing going on regardless. So make sure you're there for that. That's going to be fun.
All right. Saint seems to believe that you will be stripping. Uh, maybe
Uh,
stripping that beard off if we get enough money.
Maybe. Probably not,
Right.
but maybe.
So John, outside of that, where can these folks find us when they're not here watching our lovely faces?
Yes, in our description, we have a link to our Twitter, which is at the Gen Gap P. We have a link to our Discord server, which is probably the best way to reach us, honestly. If you are so inclined, that's probably the best way. And then we've also got our Subscribe Star, which I've been failing to shill the past couple of shows. We now have a new Subscribe Star, so now you can give us money, uh, and it will not be theft. So that'll be awesome. Yeah, you should do that. We also have a bunch of we got 3 tiers of perks that you get for signing up. Make sure you check those out and see which ones that you would like, and then yeah, do that thing. You know how to do it. You know what you're doing. You guys are smart.
Help a brother out.
And then yeah, we got Freedom Scoop as well. Freedom Scoop, where we have all of our stuff and all the other creators that I've mentioned plenty of times. I'm just going to do an abbreviated version. Just
Freedom
go
scoop.
check out all the awesome creators that we have over there, and then buy our shirts and put in the code GenGap at checkout. You'll get 15% off your purchase. So make sure you do that. So that'll be kind of cool
All
for
right.
us at least. And you'll get a shirt. And these shirts are awesome. I actually like unironically wear this shirt often just because it's actually really comfortable. It's good material, good quality shirt. I like it a
All right.
lot.
I still wear mine
Yeah.
a lot. Not tonight, but a lot. All right, so a lot of love out there for the chat. Everybody showing up tonight, having that discourse, that conversation, that back and forth, which is
Oh
always
yeah.
fun and exciting. No matter how much you try and hurt my little feelers, uh, because I'm a status cunt. I guess when it's all said and done, that must be what I am.
You can't help it. It's not your fault.
Right? You know, no matter how much misinformation about it there is, that's all I am. But anyway, we'll be back again on Friday night at 8:30 and for a regular episode, and then of course back again next Monday night at 9:30 for another rousing episode of Shooting the Shit. Both of those times are in Eastern Time, the only true time zone,
right.
number one time zone. We will be getting our wheels grinding and getting everything geared up for that fancy dancy charity show. But outside of that, stay strong and keep yourself safe. Do the right things, do the wrong things. Just don't get caught either way, and you'll be fine. But until then, John, it's nice talking to you this evening. I'm going to get the hell out of here. Have yourself a good night. Peace out, everyone.
Yep. See you guys.
The war will begin.